important for us to eat right now for COVID times. And thank you everybody for being here. It's a Sunday evening. It's a pleasure to have you all here, and let's begin. Last but not the least, thanks to Javi, my better half, because he's taking care of all the technicalities here, and I am a pure medico. What is holistic eating all about? Holistic eating is about the realization of the power within. Thy food is thy medicine, comes from the Rig Veda. Now, this is very important for us. We should treat food like medicine. Every time we don't think of what we eat, we're not in the right awareness of what we eat, it just falls back. This is because sometimes, for example, we're sitting on the theater screen and popping in popcorns, our mind is in the movie and we eat the entire packet. Or, for example, when we're with something which is like listening to music, something around which occupies our mind, work, it could be needs while eating, our mind is just stopping food. So please be in awareness with what you eat. And if you treat food like medicine, you will never have to take medicines. Believe me. Food is Brahman. I can't control everything in my life, but I can control what I put in my body. So these poles are quite true because we shouldn't couple up emotions and food. Sometimes if you're happy, we eat too much. Sometimes if you're sad, we eat too much. What to do? So let's not go to extremes. Let's be in awareness of what we eat at all right quantity, right quality, the right the frequency at which we indulge, everything matters ultimately. One is sattvic foods. So these are the ones which give us increased life, prana, increased energy. So emotions like love, pleasure, intelligence, alertness, strength, endurance, a happy and a cheerful mind all come from the consumption of these foods. These are nothing else but fresh fruits and vegetables. Then comes Rajasic foods. The Rajasic foods are the ones which may be spicy, fried, sugary, salty, or sour. They are the ones which may cause restlessness if taken in excessive quantities, mood swings. They also land up thickening our blood, which is in parallel to the inflammation which is happening at the level of the physiology of the body. And by and large, if this goes up in more intensity, inflammation in the body, we end up with chronic disease, which we don't want for ourselves. These chronic tamasic foods are the ones which are stale, over fermented, leftovers, and even non-vegetarian. These are the ones which are not fit for consumption, and they also cause low prana energy. These are the ones through which we can get contaminated with microorganisms. You all very well know about it because COVID is on, and this is one of the prime factors, positive factors for that. So let's take care of things. Let's get back to our roots of eating right. Let's focus with eating small, balanced, fresh meals. And they should be frequent, not too much at a single point in time. They have to be small and frequent. We should definitely say yes to millets. That's the way to go for today. So in millets, I'll be talking about a few like foxtail, I'll be talking about quinoa. We can also work with ragi, which is finger millet, oats, also multigrains like jawari, bajri. All these could be included in your meal plan instead of just regular wheat. Also, we should avoid white polished rice. Brown rice is more than a welcome. And we definitely have to complement our meal with
Miss, please unmute yourself. Miss, unmute yourself, please. You've got muted everyone, so.
Yes. So what I was saying is that along with millets as carbs, we should definitely incorporate more salads and more sprouts or legumes as a part of our protein content in the meal. Let's say, for example, if I'm having a meal, so 1/4 portion of that should be carbs, 1/4 portion of my meal should comprise of the vegan protein, and half of my plate in that should comprise of the salads and the roughage along with cooked vegetables. Yeah, this is how we have to go about with our meals. We also need to keep into mind our hydration levels. 2 to 3 liters of water per person per day is something very important, because we all know that this is one of the key ingredients which will help us circulating all our nutrients throughout to the organs, the respective organs. And definitely we need to restrict caffeine and alcohol. Now, to complement right eating, indoor exercises and blood circulation definitely do come in. Right now, with COVID on, it may be very difficult to have outdoor workouts, so one can look into this. Now, let's come to the crux. Let's move on to the main key ingredients of what the meal should consist. So, the grains which one can definitely look at are quinoa, millets, as I mentioned earlier, buckwheat, whole rye, oats, burglar. Now, the main benefits of all these are that they are alkalizing. They have a very high mineral content. They are also low in glycemic index. That means it makes it very good for diabetics. And also, I would like to give some examples. Like, you find less amount of minerals in CVD cases in diabetics. So from the clinical perspective, this is a good option for such cases. They also are gut cleansing and high in proteins. Now, this is the slide which is showing you the protein content, the vegan protein content. So here we can incorporate legumes, as you can see, the black-eyed beans, the rajma, or you can have your proteins coming from edamame soybeans or from tofu, tempeh. Tempeh is nothing else but a chunk of fermented soya, or chickpeas for that matter, white beans. All these contribute to the protein content of our meals. And we also get it from seeds like sesame or nuts like butter. Seeds like sesame and flax are very rich on omega-3 fatty acids, which are very good and very, very immunomodulating. And the main part about the main benefit rather about plant proteins is that they are not carrying cholesterol. They have the healthy fats. So they are good. They're very good for CVD cases. They're very good for diabetics. They don't spike up the blood sugar if accompanied with a particular food. And they also have all the important amino acids. Okay, so in today's times, we are again wondering whether we should be having cow's milk or not, because most of the cows are injected with hormones so that they are very stable with their output of milk throughout the year. So in today's times, if one has any kind of milk allergies, one can think of options like soy milk, almond milk, hemp milk. Now, the good part about soy milk here is that it's very high on its protein content. And the good part about almond milk is it's very high on its calcium content and vitamin E content. And when it comes to hemp, I think I would top it as the best one amongst all. Now, the key note which I wanted to focus on over here is because the source of omega over here, 3 to 6, is in perfect 1:3 ratio. So, this is very, very desired for us at a physiologic level. This is something which is very beneficial for us to keep our healthy fats in the right ratios. Also, our good fats can be classified into monounsaturated fats, polyunsaturated, and saturated fats. The common examples for the MUFA, the monounsaturated, would be avocados, as you can see, olive oil, and even mustard for that matter. Then when we talk about the polyunsaturated fatty acids, we have canola and saffrola in our kind of a country. And there are certain saturated fats like butter, ghee, coconut oil, which again should be used in restriction. So when we talk about general guidelines, this has to go in a ratio of 1:1:1. Of course, this ratio will definitely vary for all clinical conditions, and also the weight as per the height, the sex, the physical activity of the person. Yeah, so moving on to the healthy seeds. Here we have three of these, as you can see, the hemp, the flax seeds, and the sesame. These three again have a very good quantity of omega-3. And when we look at pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, they have a whole lot of nutrients like B, vitamin K, vitamin E, which is anti-aging, magnesium, and incorporation of all these definitely works very well for the system. As you can see, these are all the benefits mentioned. They are rich in omega, they are low in cholesterol, high in proteins, anti-inflammatory. Yeah, coming to the vitamins. So when we classify vitamins, the best way to go about with it is there are certain fat soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, E, and K. You can see those over here. And there are certain water soluble vitamins. Those are the B. So here we have B1, B2, and PP is B3. B5 is pantothenic, B6. You can see all these derivatives of B. B12 is cobalamin. Moving on to vitamin C, it's an anti-infective vitamin. So vitamin C, A, B, C, D, E, K. So out of these, just like A, D, E, K are fat soluble ones. And D, as we all know, is the sunshine vitamin. So it gets activated in the sun. Supplementation of all these in the right levels is very important for good health. Moving on to the minerals. So as you can see, magnesium, which is found in, these are the food sources: spinach, nuts, soy, millets, beans. And this is its primary function in the body for bones and muscles. Then is a potassium. It's found in plenty in fruits. It also works as a natural diuretic, and it's also recommended for ladies who carry a lot of swelling and water retention. Of course, we need to keep the clinical aspects in mind if the patient is a renal case or not. And this is very good for nerves and heart. Heart fitness correlates a lot to potassium. Moving on to iodine. Iodine is coming into the body from iodized salt, which we eat, and this prevents us from thyroid disorders and goiter. Iron, as we all know, is seen a lot in dark green leafy vegetables, collards, chard, greens, and this is primarily very, very important for, we all know it. It's less in the Indian women, but it is very, very important to be active for right cognition, for energy. Zinc. Zinc is found in till in very good content, and garlic, beans, cheese, and its primary function in the body is healing of skin and DNA building. So very important even for adolescents, growing kids to be supplemented with zinc in the right form. Also, it keeps us away from respiratory tract infections. So one can definitely look into this as a multi-nutrient to be supplemented. Moving on to selenium. Selenium again acts as an immunomodulator, found in grains, veggies, nuts also, and it prevents CVD, the cardiovascular disease, and thyroid disorders. Chromium picolinate. Chromium picolinate is basically a micronutrient present in broccoli, grapes, apples, and it's very useful to maintain good blood sugar levels. Calcium. Calcium again is very important. We cannot negate this, especially in seniors with after 30s, 40s, we all need some supplementation on daily basis for our bones, our teeth, our whole skeletal system. And the presence of vitamin D is again very important for calcium intake, because only when we have sufficient amount of vitamin D in the body will the calcium get absorbed. Otherwise, it's not really going to benefit us much. And a very good food source for calcium is khaskhas, so poppy seeds. It's a very good, rich source of calcium. So I suggest everybody should work more with khaskhas and take calcium. Now, let's look at something very colorful. This slide is all about eating all the rainbow colors. We love to see rainbows in the sky. Let's look at all the beautiful colors like the rainbows in foods now. So there's this pigment called lycopene. Lycopene is basically a derivative of vitamin A and beta carotene. So these are all the yellow, orange fruits and vegetables, and they have a protective effect on the body. So every time we take a meal, we should see to it that we're incorporating something from these food groups in our meal. For example, pumpkin, it has a very high sattvic level. It has very high prana shakti. It helps in the formation of RBCs. Or for example, papaya, which is very good for our eyesight. Moving on to vitamin C, as you can see, it's coming from all the citrus fruits shown here. Our chlorophyll is coming from all the greens, and the greens, everywhere you see the greens, it's an array, it's a very dense way of consuming a lot of micronutrients. So definitely welcome more of greens in your diet. And anthocyanins is the red purple pigments found in different foods. So this is coming from purple cabbage, beets, blueberries, brinjal. As I mentioned about anthocyanins, you can see the beets and the blueberries from this category are detoxifying. They're also working to neutralize the damaging free radical oxygen formation in the body, free radicals. Also, when we talk of avocados, avocados are hydrating just like vitamin E. These are some foods which are versatile for even balancing our hormones via food eating. And citrus, as I just mentioned earlier, it's anti-infective. And here we have the beta carotene and the lycopene. So also we look at haldi as an anti-inflammatory food, broccoli and pineapple, which contains bromelain, which enhances blood circulation. We can put all these into anti-aging foods, but also superfoods. Okay, we're also looking at berries now. The first is strawberries. They are very high on their antioxidant content. Antioxidants like vitamin C are present in these, very rich in fiber, magnesium. When we look at blueberries, blueberries have again a lot of cholesterol lowering property, and that's why they're very good for heart cases. When we look at raspberries, we should definitely not forget the presence of LSD acid.
এবার সাবাল মানে বলেছে
Can we have
ডক্টর মহেশ
Ma'am, I'm sorry. Please unmute yourself. I have to unmute people.
म्यूट करवानो कि अनम्यूट करवानो
Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Yes, so I was talking about berries. I was talking about berries, and I was talking about raspberries and the presence of ellagic acid in the raspberries. And the benefits of ellagic acid over here are it doesn't let tumors grow. When we look at cranberries, we also advocate this a lot at the clinical level, especially for women who have a lot of urinary tract infections. It's very beneficial in such cases, consumption of cranberries. And goji berries is something which is very rich on beta carotene and helps in maintaining immunity, restoring immunity, healthy eyes, skin, hair. Now, these are the other uh, plant kingdom foods which help if supplemented. So there's something called as giloy or guduchi. This, when given to growing up teenagers, builds up their immunity big time. Also helps them in their resistance with their colds and viral bouts. The plant kingdom name for this is Tinospora. And we move on to the next, alpha alpha. Alpha alpha can be had as green powder in the form of tablets. It's available in homeopathy in the mother tincture form. It can also be sprouted and mixed with salads. And here we have spirulina. Spirulina is a very old superfood known to us from past 20-25 years. So this is again a blue-green algae which is available in today's days in pharmacies in the capsule form or tablet form. And not to forget moringa, drumstick leaves. So this comes from the miracle. The other name for drumstick leaf tree is miracle tree, and its benefits far they supersede far many more plant supplements. So you can see that 24% plant protein is derived from this 9 essential amino acids, 24% of fiber. It's a very rich source of iron and calcium, and it's high on antioxidants. So I recommend this to my patients. I tell them to have it in powder form with buttermilk. I tell them to have it with lemon juice, and they really feel very active and energetic with this because it's taking care of a lot of micronutrients at a very broad spectrum. These are the other few. Holy Tulsi. Yes, we cannot forget this. It's the mother of all the herbs that I've known. Green tea, again, it is very rich in flavonols and it has its benefits on immunity. Matcha, as we all know, it's used a lot in the Asian countries. And because it's green, again, it is a storehouse of energy. Honey. Now, the good part about honey is it has copper, manganese. It's again protecting us from coughs, colds, and it's just loved by everyone. So if you have to even give it to children, they will take it happily. They will not make faces. So you can blend ginger powder, black pepper, honey, and it works like a natural antibiotic during times of colds and coughs. Okay, so coming to the main the main part, which is my favorite, is the recipes. How I cook at my home also, I would love to share with all of you. Every time I cook, I have some divine, bhajan or something going on in the background. And when I cook, the first thing I do is I offer it to the gods. So that becomes prasad. It becomes prasad for my whole family. It cleared out of all the doshas and then. So I request you all do the same at your level. And coming to the first one here is pizza. So the pizza over here is Rajgira based. Rajgira is nothing else but amaranth. This is a superfood and it has an array of nutrients. Then we're talking about foxtail millet dosa. Foxtail millet is by far a very good millet for diabetics. So 1 cup of millet to the ratio of 1/4 cup of urad dal when soaked overnight and blended the next morning can give you superb dosas, very nice crispy dosas or idlis. Now at my home, what I do is sometimes I'll end up adding beetroot puree to it so that I have beetroot foxtail dosas. Sometimes I add palak to these to the same batter. So my dosas and idlis are green in color and palak based. So it's a perfect combination. I'm taking care of the millets. I have the protein incorporated from the urad dal, and I'm adding my protective group vegetables. So it's a complete meal in itself. And who doesn't like idlis and dosas? You can also have variations, like you can go for ragi with grated pumpkin idlis. You can work with oats and berry shakes. You can work with salads. In salads, you can have millets, you can have quinoa added, you can have berries added to your salads, you can have olive oil, you can have actual olive pieces, you can have tofu coming in, you can have sprouts coming into your salads, you can have pumpkin seeds, watermelon seeds, shea, hemp, sunflower seeds, as I mentioned. This is how at a home level from your kitchens you all can work with increasing the mineral content, the vitamin content of each and every recipe, your own creativity, your own, call for foods you love, and touching upon the different food groups would help a lot. And patra, as we all know, is available in our kind of a state throughout. It's one of the Maharashtrian speciality. So if you stack up colocasia rolls, the patra, ready-made patra in your freezer, just cut them and steam them. It's a good way to encompass a lot of micronutrients into your bloodstream. Then we have til and khaskhas cheeky with dates and coconut. So instead of adding sugar over here, the base over here is dates. And til and khaskhas, as we know, are very high on their zinc and calcium content. Having sweet potatoes is a wiser option compared to having regular potatoes. So one can think of recipes like barbecued or grilled sweet potato. Then one can think of recipes like tofu, which is stuffed in rajgira atta parathas, or choco fox nuts. So fox nuts is nothing else but makhana, which has been coated by chocolate. And also one can think of desserts like berries with oats and in the form of a cake. One can think of beverages like avocado blended with almond milk, or probably with soya milk, or probably with hemp milk at home level, or also aloe vera juice. As you can see here, the aloe vera juice can be blended with different fruits. The different fruits would be either mangoes or pineapple, whatever fruit you may like, and make a good drink out of it and just be with it at home level. Peanuts are very readily available, so one can coat them with honey and consume them. Seeds and honey could be coated on them and consumed. Also, I would want to talk about turmeric and ginger. These are by far the best anti-inflammatory foods which we have in our kitchens. So these can be worked with lemon and taken in as good drinks. And instead of having the regular momos with the fillings of cabbage and regular vegetables, for a break, we can stuff tofu or soy or jackfruit. All these have an array of different nutrients. So get more creative with your food stuffings, with the way you make food, the way you bake food, boil it, grill it, poach it, stew it, avoid deep fat frying, use a little bit of non-sticks, to consume less oil. So the foods with low energy vibration are definitely the non-vegetarian foods, which have to be moved out of our system. And we also have processed foods, which are basically dead foods because they have a lot of preservatives and additives. So they prove to be toxic in the long run for our immunity. So it's better we say no to these. So this is a manifesto for a simple life. Eat less, move more. Buy less, make more. Stress less, laugh more. Feel blessed, love more. Find a quiet spot every day and breathe. I would want to ask you all, how deep is your breath? Please ask yourself. Get started, there's no looking back. Yeah, I keep telling this to all my patients, it's now or never. So we all have to be in gratitude, in thankfulness to divinity. We have to have forgiveness as one big, attitude to carry inside us. Listening, seeing, doing everything positive. Good sleep, again, which calls for a lot of cosmic energy within us. And I'd like to summarize that in each of us there is boundless energy which is gifted by Mother Nature. When we tap it for good, we will not uplift our lives but also everybody around us. So I think when we work like that with laughter as our best medicine, it's like God's signature on our face. It's like a immunomodulator. I think we kind of take care of many aspects, when we look at yoga, when we look at exercises, when we look at laughter, when we look at food choices. So then this in wholeness works to complete me, so it's like we're blossoming with divinity. So I'd like to end my presentation. Thank you all for being such wonderful audience. Thank you, Ishita, once again. Thank you, Malin.